ready?
Agility from the champion.
Oh, deep six!
That could be a delivered this deep six.
Good evening. This is episode 142. What is going on? I am joined today by Brandon, aka Bash. Brandon, how you doing today? How was your weekend?
It was all right. A lot in the furniture business for no reason, and I had a headache that could have taken down an elephant on Sunday, but we're feeling better. Luckily, was able to sleep, I think, for 11 hours Sunday into Monday, so that helped out a bunch. We're doing all right. How are you doing, sir?
Bro, I've worked every day. I've been working every single day. I've been working every day since February 22nd. I had the day off February 21st and worked the 5 days prior to that. So I really had one full day off since February 16th.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, and we're not even at Wednesday yet. I'm working tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. I love it. I'm troopering through it. I got Vegas to pay for. A little money to save up for that roulette table, and maybe score a little big and treat myself to a WWE Championship belt or something like that.
Hey, definitely, you deserve it, man. That'd be cool to be able to bring around to obviously WrestleMania weekend, just have one of those belts.
So this has been a pretty cool weekend, though. We covered Elimination Chamber on Saturday. We did top 5 on Friday. I hopped on solo, did a quick Sunday night 16-minute show covering Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton as a possibility. We did that YouTube video. You guys can check that out. That was a good episode. And here we are, man. We've been busy. We've been plugging away, and I'm convinced that other than Fightful Select, we're one of the busiest podcasts out there right now. So we gotta pat ourselves on the back for that. So we're gonna jump in. This is WrestleMania season. We got a Raw to talk to. We have WrestleMania predictions to make, because we're gonna be doing WrestleMania predictions between now and all the way till WrestleMania. So I love predicting how WrestleMania is gonna shape out, and I love being on the road to WrestleMania. I'm so excited to see. I got my favorite hoodie, one of the only hoodies that fits me right now. But anyway, we won't go there. But Brandon, really quick, before we talk Raw, what were your thoughts on Elimination Chamber?
So we'll start with the women's one. I had semi-predicted that one, and then when Rhea and Io lost the belts Friday night on SmackDown, I went Rhea's winning tomorrow. And there was no other reason other than ticket sales. But I figured Rhea was winning that. And Randy Orton was I didn't even think that would make sense. But now there's going to be so many things. Who knows what happens Friday on SmackDown? So they probably make it into a triple threat, if not a fatal 4-way, and throw Jacob comes back and messes up that match. So then they'll have to do a triple threat match for the opportunity to face off against Randy, and then Randy might just get into that and say, you know what, screw it, all 4 of us, let's have some fun. The AJ Lee, I was very surprised on that decision. However, I did pick that. So now there's going to be a 6-woman match next week, which we will talk about as they alluded to on Raw. And I think that was it. We had said Punk was going to win. That made perfect sense. They weren't going to mess with the already put up WrestleMania banners. So I was pretty square on for the AJ and CM Punk, but I did not think they were going Rhea and Randy on that whatsoever.
Yeah, so here's the thing. We're gonna touch on Rhea Ripley right away because we got a request to do so. But Rhea Ripley winning did not make sense from a storytelling standpoint as it would have with Tiffany Stratton, because the story with Tiffany Stratton was there. Tiffany Stratton came into her match injured against Jade Cargill, which was almost relatively a squash match when she lost her WWE title. Tiffany Stratton has came back. She's worked her way back. She's gotten thinner. She works and moves around a lot better in the ring with some of the weight loss that she lost. And also shout out to Nia Jax too with that. But basically, Tiffany Stratton's been on a comeback trail. And I think it would have made more sense for Tiffany Stratton to win this women's elimination chamber and get her rematch that is owed to her. Well, she is still owed a rematch, but get that rematch and earn it and be on the road to WrestleMania and get her win back against Jade Cargill. Because quite frankly, I believe that belt needs to come off of Jade Cargill at WrestleMania or before WrestleMania. I really think that we can get a better match here on the women's side, in my opinion. But rumor has it that Rhea Ripley, and to your point, quite possibly to boost ticket sales. Who knows? Rhea Ripley is the biggest fan favorite for the female superstars, and you look at the matches. Yeah, it's a big name on each side of the ring, Jade and Rhea Ripley. However, I think we can do a better match here. I'll talk about that in a second. But supposedly there's rumors going around. The IWC tends to start a lot of rumors on Facebook and all these different wrestling community groups that I don't really trust half of them unless like maybe Sean Ross Sapp or Mike Johnson reports it. But supposedly there's a little bit of heat between the talent and Jade Cargill backstage. How Jade Cargill is not really showing the same respect as some of the superstars try to show her. Is it possible, in your opinion, that just like we might be seeing on the with the men's championship side of things, with the title scene there, that maybe we could get an audible on the women's WWE title?
I was thinking that because what's really going to drive viewership for the next 6 weeks is allowing storylines to grow and creating multiple storylines that might happen in WrestleMania, because it's tough to have the same thing going on for 6 weeks. As we were saying with the Maxine and Natty angle, who knows what's going to happen there? So there's multiple. It's tough to write for a whole month and a half. So that's where I could see, like you said, maybe it doesn't change, but maybe they allude to the changes. Maybe they say, someone says to Jade, hey, you don't deserve that belt, nor do you deserve a WrestleMania match. Take her on a random Friday night and lose, but at least it builds the Jade storyline. Then you can have Rhea run out and attack Jade and say, you're not getting out of this too easy. I know I can beat you and I want the belts. So I don't know if they'll change it up, but I think that they're going to create matches that could happen. Same way with obviously Cody and Drew this Friday. So I think they're going to do a little bit of that here and there. And also it gives Jade a chance to get in the ring a little bit more and get comfortable before WrestleMania if they do put her in that match.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, at this point, I don't think I can see the women's title match changing. But at the same time, there is a better option. And honestly, I would have Tiffany Stratton come out this Friday and demand a rematch that she never got.
Yeah.
And then maybe in like a week or two, honestly, I would get that belt off of Jade Cargill and have Tiffany Stratton versus Rhea Ripley. Come on now.
Well, that would work. That would
I don't
be
think
good.
they'll do it, but it would be a better option for the WWE Women's title.
I think you have mommy versus muscle. I think that's just what they're trying to write.
Yeah.
They're going to be able, and if Jade comes out on top, it pushes her story and it pushes her being a decent wrestler. And if Rhea wins, she gets the belt that's eluded her for a while. And also SmackDown could use a little bit of help. The women on Raw, like everyone could use a little bit of help. And it also gives EO a solo push, which is awesome as well and very much deserved. So that's where I like the idea of EO and Rhea splitting off at this moment and both getting their singles push.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing they just got to make sure is like that the women's tag team scene stays as hot as it's been.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that'll kind of fix itself in a little bit with Roxanne coming back soon and stuff like that. Now, Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton. No, excuse me. I'm going too fast, going too ahead of myself. Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton this Friday for the WWE Championship. It was announced.
Drew, but yes.
Did I say Randy Orton again?
Yes, but it's okay.
Oh my gosh.
Right.
Let's rewind. I'm going to edit this out. We got Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre this Friday. And it was announced by Nick Aldis because of Drew McIntyre's constant interference in Cody Rhodes' business numerous times, showing up when he's been told not to. And most recently, during that Elimination Chamber match, Drew McIntyre interfered. So with that being said, they made the match for Cody versus Drew. Now, this is where it gets a little interesting. Randy Orton won the Chamber. Randy versus Drew, as of now, is set up at WrestleMania. This is not the best possible match that we can get for that WWE title. I am thinking that there's a huge chance, a big chance, that Cody defeats Drew, wins the belt, and we get Cody versus Randy Orton at WrestleMania 42 as a better option.
Yep. I think that is basically the same thing of Roman versus CM Punk of like, hey, we let you come back, but while you were off at another place, I was running the show. And Randy was really pushing WWE for a good portion while Cody and Punk both haven't been there. So I think that they could pull basically the same story that they're using with Punk and Roman. However, instead of the hatred angle, it could go I mentored you. I'm the reason that you even had a chance in WWE. You know, your dad is the whole reason that you're here anyways. And that's where also they're trying to make one of those two guys go heel. You could really see how the crowd reacts and then go from there and say, oh, they still love Cody. All right, screw it. Let's keep Cody as a face. Or, oh, hey, screw it. They like Randy. Let's keep Randy as the face and then go with Cody as the heel. So there's a lot that they could do with that, but I think Cody versus Randy is the move. If not, you have a triple threat. And like I said, Jacob Fatu, which I'm looking now, he apparently had 11 teeth pulled, and that's the reason that he's been out for a few months, which is crazy. So he might come back with a crazy grill or something. But I could see him coming back for this match on Friday, attacking them, and then you have a triple threat match later on, and that's when Cody can get the belt back.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, if it is Cody versus Randy Orton, I think this is going to be a feud of, built on like mostly like mutual respect. I don't think there'll be any significant like heel changes or face, or anybody either one of them turning heel, at least leading up to Mania. Quite possibly we could get that heel change from Cody. But who knows? I think it's going to be a face versus face WrestleMania match that they would have if for some reason it's the two of them, which I think it's going to be. It's heavily rumored that Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton is being heavily considered. Well, duh. If Cody wins on Friday, he faces Randy Orton. So, people are just like making up stuff for clickbait, but I think we're getting Cody versus Randy due to the fact that that's the better option. Randy and Drew are not going to draw as well as it would be Randy versus Cody. But
Right.
now the question is, what do you do with Drew McIntyre? The guys like Drew McIntyre, Jacob Fatu, going into WrestleMania. Do we make this a four-way? Does this match turn into a no contest? And do they make it a four-way? Or do they just keep Cody and Randy, keep it singles, have the best match possible there, and have Drew versus Fatu at Mania?
That's where I think Jacob comes back, messes up this match on Friday. We get the triple threat match the week after or 2 weeks after. Cody wins. We get Drew and Jacob, and then Cody and Randy. That is going to be.
So you think this isn't going to be settled on Friday?
No shot. Not with still, like I said, 6 weeks left to WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And Jacob Fatu is floating around, and they expected him to also be at Elimination Chamber, and he wasn't there. So that's where I think this match is going to be messed up. I already see it. I've been watching WWE my whole life. The writers have been doing this for years.
Yeah.
Where somebody else interferes, and then you have a triple threat match. So,
is it possible that you think that Jacob Fatu makes it up to Cody Rhodes in a way that Fatu exit this match, enters during the match, the arena, distracts Drew, and then Cody gets his win back? Do you think that Jacob Fatu goes out of his way to distract Drew just to kind of pay it back forward to Cody?
I could see that. That's where maybe, yeah. I think he gets involved in the match, but do you have that's the thing is no, that would work instead of him putting hands on either guy. Is that just his music hits and then Drew gets distracted, Cody hits a Cody cutter and then finishes it from there? I could see it. That's where Fatu gets. No, I still think I'm going to go with mine. I think that Fatu hits both guys, and we get a triple threat for the belt.
Now, let's just say this. Okay, let's just say this. What happens if the plan is nothing that we even talked about? We have Cody versus Randy. Okay? Now you have the element of Nick Aldis, which has also been rumored that people starting rumors that we could get Nick Aldis making his in-ring return to face Drew McIntyre.
That'd be cool.
But now, okay, so if you have Cody versus Randy, you have Drew versus Nick Aldis. What do we do with Jacob Fatu now? Who took out Jacob Fatu a couple months ago?
I don't remember.
That's the thing. They never told you. They never really told us. So we never really got like a concrete answer. We just assuming that it's Drew, but what happens? Hold on. Who took out Jey Uso last week?
Well, that they think is the Vision, which makes sense.
The Vision. What happens if Sami Zayn has been involved in either taking out Fatu or Jey Uso last week?
Ooh. They want a heel turn for him too. I could see that.
Does Sami Zayn turn heel and join the Vision, and somehow we have Sami Zayn and the Vision versus Seth Rollins and the Usos at Mania?
Ooh, that'd be cool. That's just tough because now you have to get Sammy from SmackDown to Raw, but I could see it.
The other thing is we got to figure out something to do with Jacob Fatu because there's every angle I've thought about this so far, somebody gets left out.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody like Fatu's getting left out, LA Knight's getting left out. Like, what do you do with Seth Rollins? So I'm trying to still figure this out in my head, but I feel like they may try to get us Sami Zayn to take on Jacob Fatu and maybe reveal after all that maybe it was Sami Zayn that did it.
A lot to be answered in the next 6 weeks.
There is. Let's talk Elimination. I'm sorry, we already did talk Elimination Chamber. Let's talk Monday Night Raw. We had a pretty good show last night. What did you think of the show overall?
Overall, I was not expecting a lot of things that happens. So I'll count this one as a lot of surprises, but they're also doing a lot of talking as well.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was a promo heavy show.
Yep, and even then, 2 of the matches that happened were cut short, but the other 3 matches that did happen were fantastic. I will say that.
I'm trying to figure out where I want to start. I think we're gonna start with let's start at the top of the show. All
Okay.
right? Let's start at the top of the show. Division is upset. Seth costed Logan Paul his match at Elimination Chamber, as we just talked about a few moments ago. But then we see Division being lowered away one by one because there's a different masked man coming out from different angles. We see Logan Paul get away. We see Austin Theory get lowered away. And then we see Paul Heyman in the ring. And then another masked man shows up, and it's Seth freaking Rollins.
Hell yeah.
And anyway, Seth gave Paul Heyman a nasty curb stop. Oh, and the chair shot too.
Yeah, starting with the chair shot to the back.
To the back. I haven't seen Paul Heyman take a bump like that in a while.
The last one was him getting power bombed that I can really remember. He's been like woozled by the neck and he's been like thrown around, but for him to actually take a chair shot and then take the stomp right after, yeah, we haven't seen him take anything since he disbanded with the family and everything when Solo tried to be the tribal chief.
Yep. So that was pretty nuts. Paul Heyman's basically a bloody mess at this point. He gets taken into the ambulance. Then we see, the ambulance go away. But not quite yet. Jimmy Uso attacks Austin Theory, which was pretty cool there. And then after that, it's revealed that LA Knight is in the driver's seat of the ambulance.
Mm-hmm.
So that was actually a pretty cool segment. I laughed at that.
That was great. Did not expect that. LA Knight almost killing the guy in the yellow shirt on the ramp was hysterical.
Then the next match we had was Gunther versus Dragon Lee, which was a pretty cool match. Dragon Lee wastes no time. He didn't even wait for his entrance. He runs down the aisle attacking Gunther as Gunther's on his way to the ring.
He's done that 4 times now and just attacked Gunther out of nowhere. So
all within the first 5 to 10 minutes of Raw, everything's out of control. And actually, I was loving it. I'm like, oh, this is going to be a pretty good night. The bell finally rings, and Gunther controls the match early. Back and forth as the match went on. Dragon Lee nearly wins by countout after hitting the Operation Dragon on the outside on Gunther. Eventually, Gunther taps out Dragon Lee and tries to pull Dragon Lee's mask off, which he did, but nobody sees it. So my question to you, where do we go from here with Gunther? Are we going to maybe see somebody step up to Gunther for disrespecting Dragon Lee in the mask tradition? Maybe like Rey Mysterio or something comes to like Dragon Lee's aid at some point, sets up a match with Gunther. What do you think?
I was surprised, and you did see his face for about half a second, which is pretty crazy. Did not expect that one either. I feel like they're waiting. I have to say this right because unfortunately we're at a time of war, and I was going to say they're dropping little bombs, but we're not doing that right now. I feel like they're doing things to set up the ladder rungs to climb the ladder for other things. So it's like later on we'll talk about what happened in the Dom versus Penta match, and I think that that alludes to what could happen for WrestleMania in the future, where I could definitely see Penta versus Gunther because Penta and Dragon Lee have been together, and then Gunther hasn't been in a belt picture in a while. So maybe he goes back and gets that belt that he had for so long. So I could easily see Penta stepping up to say something for Dragon Lee's sake. Like you said, I could absolutely see Ray come back for it. Maybe he starts going up against other luchadors and he does that angle where he hates luchadors, and then you see him going up against El Grande Americano, who we already know is his former friend, if you want to go with that whole way. So that's where there's a lot of things that they could do with this angle.
Yeah.
I think Dragon Lee still needs to get his get back because that was really the first, like the only match that they actually had. So I think that they could still verse again. I could see Gunther going up against somebody else and Dragon Lee coming out and interfering again because why not? So there's a lot of things that they could do with this angle, and I thought that the Gunther, I thought Gunther was going to be stale, but now there's a lot of things that they can do because of this match. So I think this was a good, like I said, little step that they needed to build on.
Then we had, and we're not going to talk much here about this match, but we had El Grande versus Rayo. Let me take a step back there. The OG El Grande Americano versus Rayo, a.k.a. Chad Gable versus Pete Dunne.
Right.
Let's be real. But this is basically slowly building to OG El Grande Americano versus El Grande Americano. And I think we're going to get a mask versus mask here at WrestleMania 42.
That was my guess. I definitely think that makes sense. If they, like I said, if they don't do that, maybe Gunther versus El Grande Americano, not the OG. That would at least lead to something. And like I said, he's literally versing off against Ludwig Kaiser in that sense, which would be cool. So, but yeah, other than that, like you said, I think we get mask versus mask. And then maybe there's a count out, and then they both just kind of ditch the El Grande Americano.
We'll have to see. I don't think the El Grande Americano gimmick is truly going away, but I am interested to see who's going to run with it moving forward.
That's the thing is, like, tonight, Chad really didn't get too much of a pop. Chad hasn't gotten too much of a pop since the Royal Rumble return anyways. And, like, yes, you're getting boos from, like, I guess Ludwig Kaiser, but, like, I feel, and also Ludwig Kaiser has been learning Spanish. He's a star in AAA right now. So I think it only makes sense for Chad Gable to lose the mask anyways, even though he is the OG. And then Ludwig Americano can say, hey, I'm the real deal. And I got to say, his Spanish is pretty damn good. I'm not going to lie. Like, I'm trying to learn Spanish, and he picked it up very fast.
Wow. That's true. All right. So just give us a quick 30-second break here. For those of you guys that are watching, my name is Wayne, owner of Aftermath Pro Wrestling Podcast, joined by Brandon, my Monday night, well, tonight's Tuesday, but my Monday Night Raw post-show co-host. We are here talking Monday Night Raw. So for those of you guys that are watching, hit that subscribe button. Just to let you know, we are sponsored by Back Sports Page. They are the ones that put up our YouTube videos, so you can find all our content there as well as our YouTube channel. So be sure to check them out for all your sports interviews, wrestling interviews, the Cut Pro Wrestling Podcast, us, the Aftermath Pro Wrestling Podcast. Check that out. So here we go. This is one of my favorite parts of the show. Judgment Day. Let's talk Judgment Day here.
I like it.
So we do know that Finn Balor lost and to CM Punk, and he left with handshakes on good terms with CM Punk after the match was over. But they're all backstage. They're hanging out in the clubhouse. You know, there's a couple things, going on here. You have Dominic, talking to the guys, like, saying that he wants, he wants people to come out with him tonight. And then you got Finn, who's talking about, Dom, you got to do this on your own. And Dom's insisting, no, I just want the support, for you guys to cheer me on. So that led up to that part of it.
Right.
Then you also had Liv Morgan. She's encouraging Raquel to go after AJ Lee's IC title. So, and I'm thinking that maybe Liv Morgan is, kind of telling her friend to go after that to kind of distract and divert her attention from going after Stephanie Vaquer. So this way, Liv Morgan could have a guaranteed clear path to the title with nobody else in her way, just Stephanie Vaquer to beat. But anyway, we see later on, this is where it gets funny. Dom and the Judgment Day, they meet Danhausen for the first time.
I also predicted that one.
He
Yes.
curses Dominic.
That was great. Yes.
Danhausen curses Dominic Mysterio. And as soon as that happened, I'm like, oh, this is not good.
Mm-hmm.
Dominic is dropping this IC title. I felt it. I'm like, this is not good. Dominic is cursed now. I'm like, watch, he's going to be dropping the title. And sure enough, Dominic Mysterio loses the Intercontinental title tonight to Penta. And a fun fact, Penta is the first ever Mexican Intercontinental champion, supposedly.
The new one. Because Ray won it back in like 2010, I thought.
Yeah, I don't know why they're saying that, but this is what they said.
Unless, maybe Mexican born, because obviously Ray is Mexican but born in San Diego, so it's probably Mexican born champion.
Yeah. So the other part of this is, so Dom almost lost to the Penta Driver at one point. The match is going back and forth. Great match. We see Penta crash into the post and hurts his shoulder. But he recovers from that. Thank God that's kayfabe. Dominic gets JD to retrieve the hammer. And as JD is about to get Dominic the hammer to him, we see Finn Balor put a stop to JD McDonough. And he's like, no. Dominic has to do this on his own. Penta takes out Judgment Day right after that. I believe Penta did a suicide dive to the outside, taking out Finn and JD. And Penta then hits a Mexican Destroyer on Dominic and wins. New Intercontinental Champion.
I definitely didn't expect that one. Other than when he got cursed.
It wasn't quite on my bingo card until I saw Dominic Mysterio get cursed by Danhausen. I'm like, that's a wrap.
Yep. And a lot of people didn't know what that was if you hadn't been watching AEW or anything in the past and understanding where his curse comes from. but he has cursed a lot of people that have lost day of, day after, week after. So to see him bring back the curse for the first time and it was effective immediately is fantastic.
That was great. Great utilization for Danhausen coming out with his Danhausen demands.
His demand housens.
He wants the blimp. He wants a picture of Triple H pointed at him.
He got that, by the way.
You did get it?
I saw this morning there was a picture of him with Triple H after the I guess after Raw. So he got that. He wants a personal assistant, a personal camera boy.
Oh, he wants to be in a Hall of Fame this year?
Yes, he wants and he wants his face on all the trucks. Which honestly, what they really need to do is take all the WWE trucks and very easily just get a freaking 2-foot, 3-foot sticker and hide it in the corner of every truck. And you can make it that Danhausen did it himself. But you don't need a huge face, just tiny little Danhausen everywhere would be hilarious.
The only thing is, we don't want to curse the truck, though.
Right.
We don't want to
all of a
curse
sudden
the truck. We need the driver to make that truck safely from arena to arena.
See, but that's the thing. Maybe Danhausen will protect it. Because if his face isn't on the trucks, then he can curse the trucks.
Okay.
So he'll say, if I don't get my face on the trucks by WrestleMania, then the trucks will be cursed. And then you could have where like the Judgment Day can't make it to WrestleMania or something, like, something silly like that. That would be good. That this is going to be a comedy angle until they actually let him wrestle. But like R-Truth and Danhausen together to call themselves the Evil Truth, done.
Oh my gosh.
Joe Hendry coming up and both of them appearing out of nowhere and disappearing out of nowhere will be great. So I hope that they call him up. I'm trying to think. I mean, obviously he's going to be up against the Judgment Day. When the Judgment Day falls apart, because they're expected to fall apart soon, they can blame Danhausen. So that's 3 more guys that can go up against him in the ring. So there's so many things that they can do with this. I'm actually pretty big on Danhausen. I did not watch AEW, but I loved watching the clips of him when he was with Hook was funny as all hell. So like I'm pretty high on him. I think there's a pretty high ceiling for him.
Danhausen is the perfect fit for WWE.
Oh yeah.
Like a glove on a hand. Danhausen, the merch sales, the shirts, the action figures. Honestly, Danhausen, he's going to be more popular in WWE than he ever was in AEW by far. Obviously, WWE has a bigger following than AEW. But with that being said, there's a very high ceiling for Danhausen as far as the success of the fandom that I think he's gonna receive to the WWE crowd that never really watched AEW. The merch sales, this was a huge pickup for WWE because he's gonna fill a role, that comedy role that WWE likes to always have on their roster, and he's just perfect for that. I mean, like he knocked it out the park on Monday. Saturday, well, not so much. I don't even think half the people even know who he was. And if that was an AEW crowd, they would have known. But that was a WWE crowd. Half the people didn't even know who Danhausen was, which is why he didn't get that reception. But people are going to know Danhausen very soon.
Yeah.
They don't already. So, good on Danhausen. Happy for the guy. And we'll see where it goes.
And then now Penta's a new champ, so we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see where that goes from there. That curse could really mess with the Judgment Day.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I would expect Judgment Day to probably I think we're gonna get Finn Balor versus Dominic and Mania. I think that's where we're headed. We're gonna be heading to it. We're gonna be getting a lot of dissension with JD McDonough. Caught in the middle of this. Mm-hmm. That's where it's heading, and I think. JD is going to align himself with Dominic Mysterio for sure. But my question is Dominic Mysterio going to get that title back before Mania? Is he going to get a return match? Does he get that title back and then maybe they set up Dom versus Finn for the IC title?
I don't think you keep having Dom win and lose because now this is. I mean, he obviously lost it to win it back against Cena. Now he loses it 3 months after that. So I think they just kind of not give up on this storyline, but if you're gonna do it at WrestleMania, do it up. Why not? I can't really think of anybody else that deserves to be in the IC, contention right now. My guys would have been Braun and Bronson, and obviously both of those guys are hurt right now. I don't see Austin Theory go in that. I don't see Logan Paul in there. LA Knight is still hot, but I don't see a face versus face. I'm trying to like run through everybody that could take him on. Maybe, you know what? Maybe, I think we could see a Finn versus Penta instead. Because Finn has not been, again, same thing of what I was saying of where Gunther hasn't been able to get the world championship. What's the next best thing is the Intercontinental Championship. Hey, a win for the Judgment Day, or a win for Finn is a win for the Judgment Day. So maybe Finn gets a chance to take on Penta and actually gets the belt, and then Dom is upset about Finn getting the belt.
All right. So you think it's going to be a little bit more of a slower burn?
I think so, or maybe Finn gets the belt beginning of April, and then you get Finn versus Dom for WrestleMania, and they try to kind of give you, because that would only be about 2 weeks to set that up. I could see them set that up in 2 weeks. You have like an
that
April.
Raw is April 5th, and then the last Raw, I believe, is like March 29th, 30th.
Well, it would be April.
30th.
Yeah, I think
March
it would be April.
30th is Madison Square Garden.
Right. So then that would be April 6th.
Yeah.
And then April 13th. And then April 18th. So they could definitely have Madison Square Garden, Penta versus Finn. Finn wins. WrestleMania, we get Finn versus Dom. That would be my guess. You know what? Yep, that's my guess. I haven't really thought about it, but that's what I'm thinking.
This Judgment Day storyline is going to be progressing, and I believe at some point we're headed towards a little bit of a division of some sort, of a split. So I think we're headed there. The timeline seems like it could be for Mania, or maybe shortly after. Maybe the night after Mania.
Oh, sorry for the car. They do a bunch on that Monday after Raw or Monday after Mania, so I could definitely see that too.
Yeah. We also saw Rusev came out, and he says that he's tired of listening about Oba. Everybody's so high on Oba Femi, and rightfully so. WWE needs to strap a rocket ship on Oba Femi's back right away and push him to the title scene, the main event. But yeah, Rusev is very, very agitated. We haven't seen much of Rusev on TV lately. We saw him get eliminated in a minute and a half at the Men's Royal Rumble. We didn't see him much before then. And, he's been, showing up backstage a couple times. So this is where we're at. He's basically going out there and gets on the announce table, and calls out Oba Femi.
Yep.
Oba comes out. Rusev comes in the ring, and they brawl, which I loved the brawl. That was a fun 2 minutes of them going back and forth, and basically you see Oba Femi get the best of Rusev in that interaction. I don't know if we are building to Oba versus Rusev at Mania. I think we're probably building to another Raw match within maybe 2 weeks or so. I think you have Oba defeat Rusev, and then a week or two later, Oba Femi answers Brock Lesnar's open challenge.
I like it.
You have plenty of time to do this correctly. Oba Femi versus Rusev just the way they presented Rusev the past couple months, he's barely been on TV. He's been on WWE Main Event, but he's barely been on TV. And I just think you gotta kind of get the cog moving and not just hotshot Rusev into Mania. He barely hasn't been on TV all these months. Now he's gonna have a Mania match. No, I think you gotta have you gotta build Oba versus Rusev for another week or so. Have Oba dominate Rusev, and once he does that, then maybe have Oba just answer Brock Lesnar's challenge over the microphone after that match is over, and then they have a confrontation a week after. What do you think? It's got to be Oba versus Lesnar Mania.
No, I think you're right on it. I think that's absolutely the way to do it. Like you said, who else takes on Brock Lesnar that's still in the WWE right now? Like who? Again, you most likely had Braun or Bronson. That was your two guys. They're both injured now. So who else takes on Brock? If Rusev wins, you could do Rusev versus Brock, but that's not a draw. Yeah, who else? That's really about it. If Drew loses, you could do Drew versus Brock, but obviously Brock is on Raw now, so nobody else on Raw could possibly put up a fight against Brock. So Oba versus Brock, no question.
It's a way to go.
Yeah.
Because the IWC has been rumoring on Facebook and the internet that LA Knight is going to be the one to take on Brock Lesnar.
I could see that too. That really.
What does that do for either one of them?
Nothing. That really.
What does that do for us fans?
Yeah. That doesn't do anything. They're really all it does, and the only thing.
LA Knight versus Brock Lesnar does nothing for me.
No, I'm just more thinking if you did the Vision plus Brock, and then you could do the Usos and LA Knight together, and you could have a 6-man. But other than that, because the Usos still have the belt, right?
Yes.
So you're doing the Usos versus the Vision for the belts, most likely at WrestleMania if they still hold on to it.
Yeah, but then the other problem with that is what do you do with Seth Rollins? See, it's like no matter how many times I put together different scenarios with the Vision and then different scenarios with CM Punk and then Drew McIntyre and all that, somebody's getting left out of the equation somehow. Like Cody Randy, that should be the match. Drew McIntyre versus Nick Aldis, or maybe Drew versus Jacob Fatu. That should be the match. But then somebody's always getting then what do we do with Sami Zayn?
Right.
So somebody's always getting left out.
Yeah, I don't know what you do.
I haven't like you have the Vision, which I think the Vision, Austin Theory. My other option was have Vision, Austin Theory, Logan Paul going against the Usos for the tag team titles. Okay, but then what do we do with Seth Rollins? So there's every time I put a scenario together, there's one person getting left out, a key person getting left out too.
Well, Seth Rollins might have a band of masked men, which obviously we saw today. So he could take one of his masked men and do a 2-on-2 match, obviously. The only other guy that, like I said, I guessed, and it still probably could have been him, and I think it was Grayson Waller. So then you could easily have Grayson Waller attack Austin Theory and said, "You left me behind." And then you could have Seth and Grayson versus Austin and Logan. That's kind of the only way that I would see Seth not be left out of anything, and also not have Logan or Austin without a match. However, the smart thing would obviously be Seth versus Logan, and then Austin's just kind of there to be there.
Okay, so then you have Seth Rollins and a tag team member to be named versus the Vision.
Right.
Then we got to find ourselves, okay, what do we do with the Usos?
Of course, there's
Maybe
something.
find another tag team contender,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
have Sami Zayn versus Jacob Fatu, Drew versus Nick Aldis, and then Cody versus Randy Orton,
And I mean,
and then Jade versus
Mhm.
Rhea Ripley to round out the whole SmackDown side of WrestleMania.
Yeah, I think that's fine because I think I'm trying really to think of like who else in the tag. You don't need to see the New Day again. Is there really anybody else? There's just like nobody else really like coming up. So that's where
I mean, there's some good tag teams out there for the Usos, but they haven't been used. Where are the War Raiders? Where are the Motor City Machine Guns? You got New Day, you got Judgment Day, for now.
right. And that's
You got a number of tag teams out there. It's just that they haven't been used.
maybe other people join the Vision.
Well, now if we're thinking about the Raw side, you really kind of limited to War Raiders and New Day,
Right.
and then Division. But,
Right. And that's where I'm thinking the Vision versus the Usos, considering they already have a past, is the best option. But like you said, then who does Seth take on? And honestly, now that we're talking about it, Seth versus Brock would make a bunch of sense too. Because now Seth just took out Paul Heyman, who's already a Brock guy nonetheless. We can
oh,
easily see Seth versus Brock and the Vision against the Usos. There you go. That's my pick. That's my pick now.
I can see that. I can see that. I don't want to see that, but I can see WWE doing that. But I don't want to see that at the same time. If that makes sense, because I really want to see Alba versus Brock Lesnar.
Well, so do I.
But
That would be
now the
great.
thing is, the question is Seth Rollins ready for Mania? That we don't know.
That's
Or
also right.
or maybe Seth Rollins doesn't even get a match. Maybe he
Right.
doesn't even get a match, and he shows up and interferes.
That's where he could be an eight. Because that's the thing is, we already heard today he's not medically cleared to compete. So they could just keep dragging that on until WrestleMania and have him not be able to compete, and then he can be He can befriend the Usos. He can befriend Oba. Like he can, hey, I need you to take these guys out. I don't want to hear them anymore. And then Seth Rollins could show up during those matches and screw with the Vision until he's medically cleared for Backlash. And then we get Logan versus Seth at Backlash. It all depends
Yeah,
on when Seth is. It all depends on when Seth is medically cleared, and like you said, is there even a match to be made if we get Oba versus Brock, Usos versus Division? Like who? Seth isn't targeting any one specific person right now,
yeah,
so it's kind of tough to see where they'll let Seth in a one-on-one match, unless, like I said, he gets a tag partner. So it's tough to see the play on words, but it's tough to see the vision they have for Seth right now.
yeah. Moving on, we had Lyra and Bailey backstage. Lyra encouraging Bailey to go after AJ Lee, but AJ Lee encouraging Lyra to do the same thing. Bailey suggests that they both go. Notice that there's been a number of people getting encouraged to go after AJ Lee. You mentioned something earlier. Was there a confirmation of some sort, like a number one contender match
There is
scheduled?
yes, there's a 6 woman next week. Raquel is in it, Lyra's in it, Asuka's in it. Let me see if I can find the rest. Give me 2 seconds. It is Lyra, Bailey, Asuka, Raquel, Io, and Ivy.
Okay. All right.
We
And
will
it's all in
see.
the number one contender match? Is it a gauntlet match?
That is going to be a gauntlet for the
Okay.
number one contender.
Okay, that's gonna be pretty cool. All right, well,
Yeah.
we're building. We're building.
Yep. And I hope that we see Lyra versus Bailey and like one of them lays down for each other or something, and then they actually like get into a match. That'd be pretty cool.
Maybe they pin each other.
Yes. That would be great.
Oh my gosh, Bailey's been so underutilized. I've been hearing through the grapevine that Bailey could be on her way out of WWE eventually, and maybe making her way to AEW. But
I can see it.
she's not. Supposedly she's not happy. This was the same thing with Johnny Gargano on SmackDown. He's not happy without his tag team partner, and just the way they've been utilized. Although Johnny Gargano's been getting on TV every single week, so I don't know what the deal is there. But Johnny Gargano is one heck of a wrestler, more talented than what people are really exposed to from week to week. So,
Mhm.
And then really quick, we pretty much even minutes ago talked about this in Norsham, but Jimmy Uso versus Austin Theory. Jimmy Uso trying to get retribution for Austin for his brother Jay. This match gets thrown out. Jimmy being double teamed by the Vision. Jay comes back and assists Jimmy with crutches, and the Usos clear the ring. This is why we believe that Usos and the Vision are somehow heavily going to be in the same match. So, at WrestleMania. I was originally thinking tag team title match, but there's so many different directions that they can really go in with the Usos, with the Vision, and then not to mention, we talked about, okay, who's the one that got proven to take out Jey Uso? We don't know. It's all speculation. For those of you guys that are watching, I'm Wayne from the Aftermath Pro Wrestling Podcast, joined by Brandon, aka Bash, talking tonight on Monday Night Raw, and we are about coming in for landing, talking about our last segment of the night, and man, did we get a promo.
Oh yeah.
What did you think of this promo between CM Punk and Roman Reigns?
I've said a few times that WWE has turned into a little midday telenovela on Channel 6. Like they're absolutely going back and forth with each other, and I love the energy and the passion that they have. And it really shows that, like, sometimes acting can draw from real life. And there were a lot of real life things in there. The tweets, they called out then he called out the podcast and saying how his feelings were hurt. Bringing back that, how many times CM Punk said, "Oh, you hate me? Why do you hate me? What did I ever do to you?" Like putting on like the victim card of like, how could you hate me? I'm such a good guy. So that was there was a lot really like there. Oh my god, the line was like with Roman Reigns is, "We brought you back for the 30 to 40-year-old virgins that live in their parents' basement."
Mom and Dad's home.
I'm like, come on now. We brought you back to sell a few T-shirts, not to be the champion. And I could see exactly where he thought that. So,
But it's pretty funny though. Like Roman Reigns said that, and then after that, he says that this is too much for Punk, and being a champion is too much for Punk. Says we can't trust Phil. He's a liar. He has the fans thinking that he's having a good time. And then basically he says he's not Punk. He's just a punk ass bitch. And man, like that was a wild. But there was a little hypocrisy there because Roman Reigns is like after WrestleMania, Roman Reigns is gonna be gone until probably SummerSlam.
yeah.
Like, he does this every year. He'll show up for a little program before SummerSlam. Then after SummerSlam, he'll disappear for a little bit. Then when we get close to Survivor Series, he'll hang out for like 4 weeks. He'll disappear. Then Royal Rumble. He does this very cyclical, like clockwork, every single year with Roman Reigns. So there's a little bit of hypocrisy there, don't you think?
Absolutely.
Now, at the same time, Roman Reigns can call his shots. He's earned it. mean, he was just part of one of the greatest storylines since the Hulkamanias explode in the 1980s. I mean, Roman Reigns was part of one of the best storylines of all time, arguably.
Right.
When he had the bloodline, he had the 4-year reign as champion, and then Cody Rhodes dethroned him at WrestleMania 40, which, in my opinion, was one of the greatest WrestleManias of all time. And some people believe that WWE peaked at WrestleMania 40 with Triple H's booking, which I don't really want to believe that. I think they, but whatever it is, but you get what I'm saying. Roman Reigns basically says he's going to send John Cena on his retirement tour. Like he's going to put CM Punk on a John Cena like retirement tour, that is, and send him down to NXT, and so he can train some people. So CM Punk can train some people, and then those people can come up. So then Roman Reigns can smash them all.
And then CM Punk, well, he wanted to walk away. CM Punk said, "Hey, you ain't gonna walk away from me. What do you mean by this?" And he kept saying "we," and Punk says, "Who's we? Do you have some Samoan goblins in your pocket?" That had a little bit of a pop. But he says, "You're all alone. There's no more wise man, and I'm the one hanging out with your cousins." Again, breaking kayfabe, which is crazy. But, they don't care about the kayfabe anymore. They're putting everything on Twitter. We've now watched the stuff on Netflix. They don't care about kayfabe. They're putting it all out for everybody to see. But he says, "I'm the one on Netflix. I'm the one that's here every week. And this is my show now. It might have been your show. It might have been your WWE, but it's mine now." And he says, "I'm not going to let you disrespect me. You can hate me all you want, but you made my list. You want to retire me? Now I'm going to bury you and bury you next to your father." Mic drop, walk away. And I know Roman wanted to hit him upside the head after that.
No, that's probably, but you know what? Roman Reigns is going to come back to CM Punk in a couple weeks and talk about maybe AJ Lee, talk about his wife with like mental health or something, or maybe Larry's dog, CM Punk's dog.
Well, I'm gonna bury you next to your freaking dog. Like you want to freaking, you don't even
Punk
get to have a head.
Roman's gonna bring up the dog, and I'm waiting for it.
Yep. No, he's gonna say something of, well, my father at least has a headstone. I'm gonna bury you in the backyard with your dog. I know that's already gonna be a line. I can already hear it said, which is a great line. Like that's why I've always wanted to be a writer for them. Like
that is absolutely coming. That's for sure.
Yep. And then I think the main thing that's really going to be is, like you said, they're going to have to find the hypocrisy of like, well, I was a champ for 5 years when you weren't even here, brother. Like, and then they're going to go, yeah, well, you were a champ, but you only fought 40 times over the span of 4 years. I fight 40 times a year. Punk will say that. So there's definitely a lot that they can do with this angle, but like you said, a promo of all promos, there was a lot of real stuff in there. And, they probably went to the back and either hugged it out or they might actually have some real animosity because we all know the way Seth feels about CM Punk.
Yeah, no, 100%. So that pretty much covers Monday Night Raw. We're on the road to WrestleMania. We have about 6 Raws left, if I have to get. About 6 Raws left. Yep. 6 more Raws left to go. I can't wait. I mean, I have a loaded Las Vegas itinerary when we get there. It's gonna be a good show. We are officially next stop, the next PLE stop, WrestleMania. So that's exciting. That is very exciting. Yeah, the way things in the world is going right now, over in Iran and Saudi Arabia, I doubt I'm gonna go to WrestleMania 43.
That might be moved pretty damn quickly, depending on the state of the world in the next 6 months. But
the U.S. embassy just got bombed in Jeddah, or is it or Riyadh? One of the big, I think it was Riyadh in Saudi Arabia, which is where WrestleMania is going to be. So yeah. Oh boy. But anyhow, let's get to this WrestleMania first. A lot of big things are gonna happen. Ugh, I'm getting tired. It is almost
I agree.
midnight on the East Coast. Next up is SmackDown. Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship. I will definitely be coming on live for a few minutes with a rant of some sorts, especially if there is a title change. Rest assured, we'll be back. Otherwise, those of you guys that are watching, be on the lookout for our top 5 this Friday and possibly a Friday night show, depending on what happens with SmackDown. And then we will be back next Monday or Tuesday, depending how the cards fall for our Monday night post show. But Brandon, any last minute comments you guys you have for everybody else?
I think we covered everything tonight. I think this weekend's or this Friday SmackDown might be one of the first SmackDowns that I watch in a while because it just seems like there's going to be a lot going on.
SmackDown's has generally been very good. SmackDowns have been very good. Like guys like Ilya Dragunov and Carmelo Hayes, like those guys have been holding it down. I'm excited. But yeah, man. For those of you guys that are watching, you got one more thing?
Oh, yes. Now, the same way if we see Oba on SmackDown and Raw going back and forth, do you think they do that with Danhausen? Because obviously both gentlemen welcomed him to Elimination Chamber, and the box was bouncing back and forth. So do you think we see Danhausen do something with Nick Aldis and then maybe curse? Oh my God, maybe he curses Drew. Oh my God, maybe he curses Drew, and that's how Drew loses.
That would be wild.
And he just starts cursing everybody and then they lose the belt that night or that week. Oh my God, I'd love it. No, I hope that they do that. I really hope that they let Danhausen be on both shows for a little bit.
Yeah, they might. We'll see.
These free agent stuff, that's the best way to write them in, especially if you want, like you said, you want to strap a rocket to somebody's back. Have them go on both shows so they're seen every week by every eye that's watching. That's how you get it done. So I'm kind of glad with what they're doing with Oba, and I think they should do it with Danhausen too.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I want to see Danhausen put a spell on Brock Lesnar, curse Brock Lesnar, and then Obafemi wins in 8 seconds.
I love that.
Against Lesnar.
That would be great. Just counters a spear, hits his own move, 1, 2, 3, done.
That'd be fantastic.
And we get 6 weeks till we find out.
Oh, man.
Plenty more.
Those of you guys that are watching, thank you so much for hopping on. And we will be back very soon. Stay tuned for all the shorts that are going to be coming up this week. And we will catch you guys soon.
Agility from the champion.
Oh, Jesus!
That could be it. Delivers this